Hello everyone, this is Aman Motazidian from Critical Design Associates, here with the script I put together called Collection from User Script. Very often I find myself in this situation. I'm ready to distribute some application package to a business unit, for example, so all I have for targeting is a list of usernames. I might not feel fully confident using user-required deployments and would rather target devices, so I'll end up running reports to generate a list of associated devices and then building out the device collections to target. This script makes that all a pretty quick process. Now let's take a look. I logged into my SCCM environment and opened up the primary device relationships for the users we'll be working with. For user test-1, Win7-1, and Win7-2 are its primary devices. For user test-2, there are no associated primary devices. And for user-1, Win10-1 is its primary device. I've created an SCCM user collection here called accounting, and I've populated it with our first user test-1. And I've also created a text file here called userlist.txt, which has our other two users. Now let's build our command line. The first parameter is collection name. Here we'll want to provide the name of the collection we want to add devices to. If the collection already exists, the script will simply add devices to the existing collection. If the collection does not exist, we should use the limiting collection parameter if we want the collection created. Next, we'll see the parameters we'll use to get our list of users. AD user group is one of the optional parameters, but we won't be using that in this example. Next is SCCM user collection. We're going to use the accounting user collection created earlier, and path to text file. Here we're going to provide a path to the userlist.txt file. And then our next optional parameter is path to report. What this will do is it'll generate a CSV file in the folder that we provide the parameter, and that CSV file will show the user and device relationships that we gathered and whether or not we're able to add those devices successfully to the target collection. I'm going to go ahead and just drop what's in the clipboard here already. Just take off the file, close up those quotes, and it should generate a report right there on the desktop. Next, we'll need our SCCM site code and the primary server. Let's go ahead and run that. See here, it's pulling from the user collection accounting and also from the text file userlist.txt, and it's noticing that test collection 1 does not exist, and it's going to go ahead and create it, and then it's going to go ahead and iterate through the devices that we found associated with our users, and then generate our report here on the desktop. We come here back to our SCCM console, refresh our device collections node, and we'll see test collection 1 was created, and it has the devices that we identified here in the primary user identification. We can go ahead and open up this report, take a look at it real quick. And the report contains the same information that we kind of dumped out into the console, which is our username, our device name, and then whether or not the device was successfully added to the target collection. This will be good to go back and reference to make sure we've tracked everything, we've got everything that we need. Now let's take a quick look at the script itself. The first bit of code here is connecting to the SCCM PS drive. This is one of the reasons why we ask for the site code as one of the mandatory parameters. Next, we start building our user list. First, by accessing the AD user group if that parameter was used. We use the AD PowerShell commandlets that are provided through RSAT. Next, by accessing the list of users in a user collection. Here we use the CM user collection PowerShell commandlet, which is one of the reasons why we need to connect to the SCCM PS drive. And then notice here we do a WMI query. The WMI query here again is where we need the site code in order to access the primary namespace, and then also the primary server. This will allow us to run this query remotely. And then finally we pull from our text file. Next, we determine if the collection needs to be created or not, and then create it if we have the appropriate parameters. And then we start iterating through our user list. Notice that it is a nested for loop. We don't assume that any user only has one primary device. Users can have multiple primary devices. And then a key piece of code here is when we call the SCCM CM device collection direct membership rule commandlet, where we add our device to our target collection. And then here we're creating a custom object and adding it to an array And this custom object will have all the properties which will help us determine the username, device name relationships, and then whether or not we were successfully able to add those devices to the target collection. Then finally, if we are generating a report, I'm going to go ahead and generate the report here and add a nice little date-dependent string at the end of it so we don't ever overwrite existing reports. If you have any issues or feature requests, please submit those to our GitHub. Thank you for your time.